Good morning to all of you. So, as very few participants have joined for the class, I don't know what is the reason. Okay, so we will start our classes. Right. Okay. So, in our last class, we have discussed about the machine learning topic. So, we have start the introduction of machine learning and all of these things. So, machine learning, what is machine learning? What are the process? What is supervised, unsupervised learning? We have start discussing on those particular topics, right? Now, moving to that, there is a part called artificial neural network in the field of machine learning. So, this artificial neural network, so we all have heard the term neural network or neural. That is a term related to the biology. That is a term that is related to the biology, right? So if we remember that what is the purpose of neural or neuron, actually we can say that it is a connection between our human body, right? So any responses coming from the outside world, it will be transport or it will be suppressed into that through the neurons into our body, and then body will react or respond on that. So this is a structure that have been implemented in the field of computer science also to design some robots. Robotics, in the field of robotics, this is a one of the most important topic, right? So if we talk about a basic things of ANN or artificial neural network, so we can say it is a type of computing system that is designed to simulate the way of human brain analyzes and process information. As I said, that this neural or neuron is a term related to our biology. So correlating each these neurons into the field of computer science, into the robots, actually we can call this ANN a piece of computing system that is designed or that is still in the development or design phase, because this topic is still under research. Because okay, so ANN is in the field, the market or the picture related to ANN is in the field, but large number of development or huge research is still going on in the part of ANN or artificial neural network. So we can say that this ANN is a piece of computing system that is designed to stimulate or the way of human brains analyze and process the information. So how a human brains perform some operation, any responses is coming from the outside world, and how to analyze and how to process that, what responses need to do on what particular response, that is the part of the human brain that analyze the response and then reply as per that needs, actually, right? So this ANN or artificial neural network, we can say it is the component of artificial intelligence that is stimulating some functioning of human brain. So whatever the human brains are performing, scientists or computer science researchers are trying to develop similar types of robot that can perform like human, so that can analyze the response and then react on that. So this ANN, so while going on this ANN process, several particular processes are there to cope up with that. So we can say it is very easy. By theoretical, when we are talking and discussing on that, it looks like very easy, right? But while developing the things, it is that much difficult to process and to make it happen, right? So this artificial neural network that is a part of competence system that is trying to be something like human brain, that will be interconnected, where the responses will be processed and some pre-measures will be taken to process that particular things, right? Now we can see a diagram here. So in the diagram we can say there are several layers are present. First, the thing, there is an input layer. Second, in the last there is an output layer, and in the mid of input and output layer there are several layers that are called hidden layers. Now in the picture or in the diagram we can see there are two hidden layers actually mentioned, but in general the number of hidden layers may be more. or n number of hidden layers can be present between the input and output layer. Okay, so we cannot consider that how much hidden layers are there. So depending upon the perform or depending upon the program or computing, the hidden layers numbers may be increased. So, and one of the most important thing that the more number of hidden layers are there, the work or the process will be much better, or the performance will be much higher in the case of artificial neural network. So the number of hidden layers will be much higher. So now when the number of hidden layers will be higher, the process will get more complex. So that is a thing we can say we need to look out, that how much hidden layers we need in a process to make it happen, right? So now this particular scenario in the part of artificial neural network, between the input and output layers, these hidden layers, all the layers are connected with each other. Every node, we can say that in the input layer there are 3 nodes. We can consider in the output layer one node that is giving us the output, but in input layer there are maybe 3 nodes that is getting the responses from that. Okay, and in between the hidden layers there may be several more nodes, so we can consider the circles as nodes. So each node is connecting with each other, so every node is connected with each other. So in ANN or artificial neural network, we can see in the image just 3 or 4, but in general, while in the practically what we are doing, that the number of nodes or this particular is very much in number, so large in number, and all of these are interconnected with each other. Now these nodes, what actually happened, that these nodes are make are consisting or working with the input data, and then we are trying to provide some output data. So this input data receives the various form of input. So at the input layer, the type of inputs may be different, maybe several inputs are coming at the time, and then the information is processed by the hidden layers. So just like the human brain, whatever the inputs we are getting, we can actually get our input from different sources, like our hand can be an input source, our eyes can be an input source, our nose can be an input source. So there are several type of input sources are present. So that's like in the input layer we can get the input from different sources. So this is the basic. So how a input layer and getting the output or result in the output layer, and in general in between of this input and output layer, the number of hidden layers are many that will working, right? So this ANN as a stage we are talking about. So suppose an example that a bank, we are considering an example that a bank wants to detect a credit card fraud on time, may have 4 input unit pairs with, right? So suppose a bank is trying to find out a credit card fraud. Now here some queries may be retrieved. That may be one question we can find out, is the transaction in different countries from the user resident countries. So first of all, when we are getting fraud, which means we always find out that we may get several calls, that is the saying that yes, I am calling from the bank, right? Now the scenario is this may be a fraud call. So in most of the cases we have find out that these fraud calls or this type of fraud is done from the outside, not from your state or something. It will be done from other state or other country. So in that case, first thing that we'll be looking for the bank is that whether this transaction call or whatever the call have been made, whether it is from your own place or any outsider place. So this will be one question to find out. Second one, it can be then that is the card is being used by some affiliated companies or not. So most of the cases what we have seen that these are some individual people who are making these random calls, not any, because every time any bank or every person is always trying to saying that we are not making any type of calls for your personal information. So these are the steps by which we can find out that whether it is a fraud call or not. So we need to check out these particular things, right? Or then in the things that when a transaction is actually happening, whether suppose someone people have maybe given the faulty data or getting some fraud, and when the time of transaction maybe he or she the person is giving his or her name, the frauder is giving his or her name in case of the card details, who's the card holder, not her, his or her name. The frauder is entering her name. So that is by which we can identify that what name have been added in the case of transaction time. So this can be the questions by which, or means we can say this can be the input query by which we can find out that whether it is a fraud call or not, whether it is a fraud call or not. Now this, all this type of queries, all the type of questions will having the answer of yes or no, right? Suppose considering the first question, whether the calls have been made from your place or not. So if it is your place, then it is yes, or if it is not, then no. So all the answer of this particular question will be either in yes or no, and this yes or no answer is actually very easy to process, because if we can say, consider that if the value is yes, then we can make the value of 1, or if it is no, then it can be 0. So the data processing of the data will be much easier. So yes no means 0 and 1, consisting of a binary number of 0 and 1, and processing that data. So that is a very easy way to process the data in the case of artificial neural network, in the layers, in the input layers, hidden layers, all of these layers, that is easy to process. Now this is the basic simple idea. By theoretically it will, looks very easy, but as I said that by practically it is very tough to make this particular thing. So that's why in recent days this is one of the most emerging topic in the domain of computer science. And if someone is working on this particular data science ANN particular topic, if anyone is doing any courses on that, that will give a added advantage to his or her CV actually. Okay, so this will be a added advantage, because the days have gone where we can build a website, where we can know some C Java coding and we can crack any job or placement, because that is there. But now as the scenario is changing, the ANN is taking up the market, and if anyone have this particular knowledge of ANN data science, then he or she have an extra advantage or added advantage while in the future career future actually, right? So I would like to say that, as I said previously also, just if you have some interest in this particular field, then do some courses on it, try to develop yourself on it. Beside the classes or the theoretical and practical classes, you need to develop yourself also. So that's where you need to do some online courses. You can find out some courses in data science. Okay, you can find out some, I will share some links where you can do some courses. Okay, now coming to the theoretical part. Now in the case of artificial neural network, the algorithms, all of these things have been discussed previously. Now here the thing is that several ANN architectures, the architectures of the artificial neural network, there are several type of artificial neural network architectures are present, several types of, right? As the number of data are high, each and every day the data, number of data is getting generated in a large number, in a large volume. So the number is very much high in the case of data. So this okay, one thing I have forgot here to tell you, that what is the process of this input and hidden layer in the in between the input and output. These hidden layers actually process or presents the information, calculates and performs all of the things. Means when the responses is coming in the input layer, and we are getting some output in the output layer, in between whatever all the processes, whatever the things we need to do, all the things will be happening in those hidden layers, all the things will be happening in the hidden layers. So some activation functions, some segment functions will be present there. So we can say in the output layer that the output will be the summation of all the hidden layers, the summation of all the hidden layers, right? Now we can see several types of ANN architectures are present there. Several types of, right? What are the several types of ANN architecture we can name? That first one we can say it is a perceptron. It is a very basic topic. Then feed forward, radial by basis network, deep feed forward network, backtrack network is there. Then some gated recurrent units, sparse, then variational EP autoencoder. Several types of architectures are present, and each of the architecture have own specific work purpose, own specific work purpose by which we can actually find out the topic of ANN, or we can work out on ANN. Like, okay. So in the case of that, if we are talking about this architectures, right? So perceptron, as I said, the first thing is the perceptron. So we can say that what is a perceptron? So a perceptron, if we are talking about, is a unit of this artificial neural network. So we can see in the diagram of perceptron that two input layer is there and one output layer is there. So a basic simple image is given. So what happening in perceptron is that input is coming and we are processing, and then we are processing into the output section. So it is a part of the neural network unit. So right. So as per the biological process and all of the things, it is interconnected. So this perceptron, some inputs have been there, and if some weightage is there, and one activation function is there, right? So what is the process? I will just explain. Just a minute. Okay. So what is actually happening in perceptron? First one, that is input will be there, right? After input, then some in this particular input section, then in the input, after the input, there is some weightage values. There will be some weight values is there. There will be some weight values is there. So input, the input is present, then some weight value is there, then some net input function, then there will be some net input function. So a function will be there. So a function will be there, a net input function we can say. And then there is a thing is called activation function we can say actually. So a activation function is there, that is actually triggering all the input processes, triggering all the input processes. And then at the last we have something that is called output. We have called something that is output. So all the things are related. So in the input section, in particular the input section, there are several hidden layers also present. There are several hidden layers is present actually, right? So suppose there are one, two, okay, then something three, four. So four input, maybe we can consider that maybe a four input layer is present is there. Then every input layer have some weightages. So every input layer have some weightages. So every input, when some input is coming, every input layer have some weightages is present. So these input layers are weightages are actually connected. Then there are some net input function. So a summation means net input function, we can call that a summation is happening all of between this input and weightage function. And after that there is some activation function, and at the end there are some output. So if we are connecting all of this, if we are connecting all of this, means we can say that input, every input have some weightage. So every input have some weightage, right? So this will be the diagram. Now after that, all the things are connected with our net input function. All the things are connected with our net input function. Then first of all, let me draw the diagram. So all the input as weighted. So suppose if the input is, we were considering that if the input is value x, so x1, x2, x3 up to dot dot dot, we can say xn. and every input have some weightages that is called w0, w1 up to dot 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 wn, right? So all the things have the innate input function having the summation value of input and weightage. So summation of xn and wn, summation of xn and wn, and all the things. Then after the summation of an xn and wn, this will be provided into some activation function. So there will be some threshold value, some activation function having some threshold value, and after that this will be processed as the output. This will be processed as the output. So this is the basic structure of the perceptron. Now in this perceptron, there can be two things. Either it can be a single layer, either it can be a multi-layer perceptron. Single layer perceptron it can be, or a multi-layer perceptron it can be. So in single layer perceptron, that it can learn only in a single layer. So single layer perceptron can learn only in a linear separable pattern. So whatever the thing, so it is a easy process, we can say. So easy input things is coming and we can easily process. But in the case of a complex input scenario, that will be processed by the multi-layer perceptron or a feed forward neural network also, it can be done, actually it can be saved. So in multi-layer perceptron or a feed forward network is 2 or more layers. So it means that in singular perceptron the number of hidden layer will be 1. In single layer perceptron the number of hidden layer will be 1, but in the case of multi-layer perceptron the number of hidden layer will be more than 1. The number of hidden layer will be more than 1. So in case of this perceptron, the algorithm learns the weights from the input signal. So as I said, suppose the input, suppose this is the called input starting from x, right? So x0, x1 up to dot dot dot, we can say here it is x n. So we can say that it is xn, right? So if the is input of x2 x dot 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 n, and then every weightage have some value, we can say that is the w, and at the end you can consider that it is wn. So summation, this net input function, this net input function will be summation of xn and wn, summation of xn wn. So summation of an xn and wn, this will be the net input function, and then it will be processed to the activation function. So this enables the two linear separable classes having the value of +1 and -1. So if the threshold value in the activation function reach that particular value, then the output will be processed. Then the output will be processed. Now here actually what happened in perceptron learning rule, actually it is a learning thing, as all the things ANN and machine learning are the learning things. So what happened, the hidden layers and input, weight, native information, whatever the layers are present, it actually happening that the data are processed. Now after processing the data, if the value after the summation of xn and wn, if the native input function reaches the value of activation function, so this activation function or threshold function have some value, have some threshold value. So if it actually reaches that up to this threshold value, then the output will be processed, right? If not, if the value, if the net input function, the summation of xn and wn value not reach up to the mark of threshold value, then what happens? Then it again start to learn. Then it again start to learn. Then what happened actually? That then from this particular scenario, then from this activation function scenario, it again goes to the this up to input and weightages function, and then it actually then again start to calculating all the things again. Then again the things have been adjusted, the data is going to again recheck and learn, and then so if the net input function is not reaches up to that activation function value, up to the threshold value, then we can say there is a error. Then we can find out there is a error. So after this particular error, it again learns the total process, learns the whole thing, and then again the same process will be goes on. So the perceptron receives an input signal that the algorithm would automatically learn the optimal weight coefficient. So this optimal weight coefficient is going to be adjusted if the value is not reaches, or if the value don't goes up to that threshold value marks, up to that threshold value marks. So there in the case we can say that function that fx, if I have two value, whether it is 0 and 1, and equation will be this will be processed. So as I said that net input function will be given by xn and wn. So n, and here the process that I equal to 1 to n, so up to the hidden layers, how much hidden layers will be there. So this is the basic function. We can talk about that summation of I equal to 1 to m wi xi. So xi wi or xn wn, whatever the things we can say. So summation of I equal to 1 to m, that is xi wi. So what is the function it is actually saying? Wait a minute. N will be small, huh? All the n will be small, and xn wn, and the total process is here will be I equal to 1, and here will be up to m. So I equal to 1 up to n summation of xn and wn. Now everything have some denotation. So this w we can say that is the weightage value, x will be the we can say the input x values, then the m that have been mentioned, that is the number of inputs in the perceptron. So how many inputs are there, we need to count. So this output can be represented either by the 0 or 1. So either can be 0 or 1, or we can also represent it by the -1 to 1. So that will be depend. So this inputs of perceptron actually accept the inputs, moderates them with certain weightage values, and applies the transformation function. So as some values have been prepared in the input function, then some weightage values have been there, and the calculation have been done. So if the value is processed and reaches the threshold value, then it is fine, no issue is there. But if there is some error, it is not actually receiving up to the threshold value, then the weightage needs to be adjusted, and weightages can be adjusted so that the thing can happen. So this is the process. So these activation functions of perceptron are there. So in this activation function, we are talking about this activation function. Maybe three type of activation function will be there, right? First one is step function, second one is sine function, and third one is sigmoid function. So these can be the functions that can be used in the case of activation function of perceptron. Activation function of perceptron. So this is actually some particular thing, or a very easy ANN architecture. The most easiest architecture in ANN is called perceptron. So perceptron, single layer perceptron, multi-layer perceptron. This is the most easiest thing actually, or most easiest architecture in the case of artificial neural network, we can say. So this perceptron, we can call it is a supervised learning algorithm. This perceptron is an algorithm of supervised learning. Optimal weight coefficients can be automatically learned in case of error if we need to adjust it all the things. Linear decision boundary is drawn so that some activation function or threshold value have been set. So to get the output, or some activation function is there to activate the function. So this is a basic activation function we have talked about, right? Or ANN architecture we have talked about. Okay, although these things are not present in your syllabus in a depth way, I am just trying to clear one of the architecture, that how the things actually work, how this INN architecture process follows. So there are in other architecture, the flow process are same, several hidden layers are present that will actually count all of the things, that will actually count all of the things, right? Now, moving back to the theoretical part. So we can say, we can see that there are several types of architecture are present. Okay, so every architecture has each of the process. So it is not easy to describe all the process right now. So I have just told you a basic, that is the perceptron, how the things have been done, and single layer, multi-layer perceptrons are there, right? So each of these architecture have some every perspective for their process. Now, in this architecture of ANN artificial neural net, there is also another term is called deep neural network. So deep neural network is actually applied in the field of this self-driving cars, just like Tesla is now in the field, Tesla cars. so that have the option of self-driving. So we can mark our destination and it will find the best route and it will process as per the route. Okay, so self-driven cars is the part of deep neural network. Speech recognition is a part of deep neural network. Mobile apps for the face detection, face ID, face tagging. Face tagging is working in the Facebook. In the recent days, we have said that we have uploaded an image and it will automatically suggesting some names that whether they are present or not. So this is the part of deep neural network or deep neural network science actually. Okay, it has been used in many other cases. Okay, so this thing actually talking about this deep learning advantages, disadvantages, a black box approach, all of the things. The thing is that we are, as a user, we don't know the architecture that is actually happening behind it. Okay, we are providing some images as a test image and it will be giving us some responses that whether the image is matching with some particular thing or not, right? Considering that a dog image here, so what happened, we have provided a dog image as a test image. Okay, and it will be providing some result that is it is a dog. So how the thing is actually happening, what are the steps, as a normal user we don't know. So that's why it is called a black box approach, because the thing or the work process behind it is a very complex thing and a user is not be able to understand the process. So that's why it is not required for the user to understand. So that's why it is kept. So that's why we can also term it as a black box approach. We can also term it as a black box approach. So these are the things we have talked about, that amount of data each and every day that have been getting. Each and every day the number of data or the volume of data generating is very high. Okay, so and in the case of this ANN and DNN, deep neural network, artificial neural, whatever the things are machine learning, is a very costly or expensive thing, right? So we need to get into the field, learn the thing, and we need to apply. So if anyone is doing or working on the field of data science, so in current days, the value of that particular person is very much high regarding any simple coder of C, Java. So that's why it is the most emerging or trending techniques are actually getting. What are the things is required for the machine learning? We have already talked about the statistics, we also use mathematical parts of calculus, visualization techniques, optimization techniques. So we have started already in the module 2. We have already discussed with the mathematical part of the statistics. Okay, so some mathematical part, mathematical things of these various things are actually required in the case of data science. So statistics and mathematical is one of the basic thing, most important thing required in the field of data science. And then the next forwardly the visualization and optimization part. Okay, but first of all, the mathematical and the statistical part is most important thing in the part of data science. Visualization is there, we need to visualize all the data, we need to check out the data, we need to find out that what data is required. So visualization is also important. So these are the part. And what are the languages we can work in our machine learning? That is the Python, R, MATLAB, C++, C, everything. But most easiest things is Python, because it is a very friendly and helpful language and it is very easily understandable. Okay, so that's why in most of the cases either Python or MATLAB have been chosen to process or to work in the field of data science. So Python and MATLAB is most one of the important things. Okay, and these are the things, platforms that have been introduced. Not much we can do any of the things. So machine learning, a very big topic, a very huge topic. Okay, but in your curriculum or in your syllabuses, the things have been mentioned very small. Okay, I am going for the syllabus. Okay, just you people see in the part of syllabuses, not too much things. We have already completed module 1 and 2. In the field of module 3, that we have talked about this linear regression, regularization, model selection, SVM, decision trees, all of the things. Okay, now logistic regression, clustering, what is clustering, what is classification, k-means clustering, k-means classification, supervised, unsupervised, all of these basic things that has been added in your syllabus. We have already discussed about this topic. Now there are one or two more topics that have been left here, we can say, that is the dimensional reduction, PCA, and SVM is left actually, because SVM is a huge topic. Looks like no architecture discussion, no perceptron, ML, what this type of architecture discussion is present here. So that's why I have not entered into that huge part. Okay, so I have just discussing the basics that have been added in your syllabuses, and I am just focusing as per your syllabuses, right? Besides that, in your module 4, not that particular things is added, that is the Python setup. So how you have already started working in the Python programming, we have done several Python program in our whatever the platform you are using. Some are using ideally, some are using anything. So here a thing have been mentioned that people need to work on Anaconda. So we need to learn the process of Anaconda, the installation process of Anaconda, the things we need to work in Anaconda. Okay, so we will look into that. We will obviously look into that, how the things we need to set up, what are the things, because if we are installing Anaconda, all the packages may not be included, right? It has been found that all the packages not present, so we need to install the packages separately also sometimes. So how to install that packages, we all the things we are going to see one by one. So one two more things have been left in the module 3, that is that dimensional reduction, that is called PCA, and SVM, that is support vector machine. So these two things need to be discussed, and then we are going for the last part, that is the module 4. Not much in the module 4, it is a practical related thing. Okay, so this is for today's class. So I think whatever the thing we have discussed today, the perceptron and all of the things, if I think you people have understand all of the things. So if anyone have any type of issue, they can clarify it with me at a later on. They can call me or they can text me. Any no issue on that. Okay. So as the time is going to end, I don't have option today to ask you people if you people have any doubt or not. So if any doubts you people have, then you people can call me or you people can ask me in my next classes. Okay. So thank you all for joining into the session, and take care and stay safe in your home.